All right, quick little anime check-in, a little bit of manga as well for what I've been watching and reading. First two series completely spoiler free, I think. Everything after that is very heavy in spoilers. So, starting with Daddies, which is an absolute delight. You have these two hitmen who have taken in a 4-year-old little girl. They've technically kidnapped her, but we're going to ignore that part because they're wonderful fathers. And they are just raising her while also being hitmen. So, you have them going off on jobs, her causing chaos and interrupting said jobs, and then being like, okay, maybe if we find her a babysitter, how do you get into daycare? What do you mean we need to have these forms? We're hitmen. We don't have proof of income. And then it's just a delight. You get perfect combination of action, slice of life, and comedy. You have Ree, who is the one-man army, definitely the bronze of the organization, who can go in, slaughter everybody, expert gun user, but then in his off time, he's just chill, tired, wants to eat snacks and play video games all day. So much trauma in his past that is hinted at, that is very, very clear and obvious. I'm excited to see more. Then there's Kazuki, who is the brains of the operation. He's more into the planning and figuring out how to execute said mission. He's very organized. He likes things clean. He takes care of all the cooking. He loves to cook fancy meals, which is why he's upset when Ri and the adorable little girl, Miri, are not a fan of his fancy cooking and just wants cheap cereal or cheap steak. It's really honestly very cute, and he's very frustrated with having to do the majority of the manual labor around the house, but it works out well because you got a history with Miri's mother, and it's just so good. He's not a fan of had kind of like messy apartments living, but he's dealing because he has to live there because of his own trauma with the past. Overall, I highly recommend this anime. It is being a delight. It does not have a manga adaptation, so I don't know what's going to happen in the story, and I can't read ahead. And it's very frustrating. I do not like waiting week to week for episodes because it's really, really, really good, and I want to know what happens next. All right, and then you have Bungo Stray Dogs Season 4. Now, Bungo Stray Dogs, the actual love of my life. Like, we are 3 seasons completed. We're into the 4th season, 7 episodes, and this is a contender for my new favorite anime of all time. I cannot tell you how obsessed I am with these characters, how much I love them, and I need to read the manga. Like, as soon as humanly possible. The next chance I get, I need to start the manga. Because I can't do week to week. I can't. So, first 3 seasons. Happens. Love it. Great. I'm invested in these characters. I'm getting invested in the plot and the world, and I'm enjoying myself. By the end of the season 3 and the movie, I'm hooked. They have me. My mildest little complaint was that I did not feel that these characters were in any type of danger. I didn't feel like anxious that are they going to be okay? So season 4 heard that complaint and is just like, hold my beer. And then trauma everywhere. My babies are in danger. I'm upset. I need the next episode. We start off with Rampo and his backstory. He's a sweet, darling little angel who must be protected at all costs. Trauma. You have Yasuno, who is an angel and beautiful and has done nothing wrong her entire life, and she's like killing it metaphorically and literally. And trauma. And then you have Kenji, the sweetest boy ever. Trauma. Then you have Kunikita, and more trauma. And the actual love of my life, who my contender for my new favorite anime character of all time, Chuya. He's showing up, stylish as hell, and is about to make his presence everyone's problem, and I love it. I need the next episode. I am dying for it. I'm like refreshing Crunchyroll every day, being like, is it time yet? Can I have it early? Please, please, please. I need to start the manga. I cannot tell you how obsessed I am. Calming down a little bit. I also went into another One Piece movie for Strong World. Absolutely enjoyed it, but I did like the previous movie I seen. Was it movie 6? More just for its style and tone and how different it was, and it was One Piece did horror, so I did enjoy that a bit more. But Strong World was definitely fantastic. Greatly, greatly enjoyed it, especially one of the scenes that is basically, hey, let's make them look like classy mafia warlords as they stroll into a casino type place vibe and cause havoc, and it was a delight. I love that scene. I want that in the anime and manga. of the canon, like, main storyline. I need them in those outfits. But basically, we start off with Garp and Sengoku witnessing the Golden Lion. I'll say his name right in a minute. Escaping. So he was from Impel Down, was the first one to escape, and he's now threatening the entirety of the East Blue. Luffy and the crew see his flying ships in the air, and they're like, oh, that's really cool, but Nami knows that a cyclone thing is about to happen, so she says we have to warn them to steer the other way of the oncoming storm that's about to pop up. So they're shouting and are steering off in that direction. Meanwhile, is it Shinky? I think it's like Shinky or something like that. I'm just gonna call him the Golden Line because that's easier for me to say. Is like, hey, why are they staring off there? He throws them down one of the dials, which they know how to use because of Skypiea. Says, hey, there's a cyclone happen, turn that away or follow us. Throws it back up to them. He gets the message and looks to his navigators and is just like, is this true? Is there about to be a weather pattern that's going to sink our ship? His navigators are like, nope, our instruments say no signs of that, don't know what they're talking about. Oh, cyclone. And they just get out of the way. So he goes down to the Straw Hats and is pretty much, how did you know this was going to happen? Greatly appreciate your help. They explain, hey, Nami here is the best navigator there is. We love her. She's the one who knew it was coming, got us out of the way. So, of course, he kidnaps her. The crew attempt to save her, but it ends up getting them all separated as he has this power that obviously makes things float and go up. I really, really like the design of this because he's like traveling with multiple islands just floating in the air, and I especially like the ones that have like water floating around it, so their own little ocean around them. It's really cool design, it's really cool idea, and I did like the designs of that. The crew's all separated and they're on different island parts, and here there's this plant called IQ that's advance evolution and make the predators there really strong and formidable. Basically, as they all have to be like the strongest they can be to survive. Nami's more or less on this resort, refusing to join Golden Lion Guy's crew, and he's just trying to convince her to join. There's this duck peacock thing that can shoot lightning, and it's adorable, and I love it, and it reminds me of the little duck from Alabasta, and I want them on the crew permanently. Oda needs to give the Straw Hats a duck, preferably with some kind of power, to join the crew. That is now all I want out of One Piece, is for a duck to join the crew. Elsewhere, Sanji and Usopp are repeatedly getting attacked, and Usopp keeps getting mad at Sanji for screaming out, Robin and Nami, where are you? And drawing more attention to them, and they gotta keep fighting. Zoro and Chopper, I think it is, are going through, I think it was an ice area for a while, finds a girl, has to save her, brings her back to her home village. She's got some little wings on her arms. Brooke, Robin, and Frankie are going down and they get attacked by wasps or beetles or ants or something like that, which Brooke easily takes care of. Mild complaint in Robin looks a lot like Tashiki, and I did not know it was Robin when she was first introduced. It did not look like her at all to me. They end up at I'm going to call it a casino area, party place. It's not, but whatever, where a bunch of other pirates have all come to join in Golden Lion's attack on the East Blue. They learn about the attack on the East Blues, like, well, that sucks. We should go warn people. Sanji, Usopp, and Zoro and Chopper all end up at the same village with the people with the wings on there, so they're all together, and Nami is able to escape with the wonderful duck peacock lightning thing, and she meets up with Luffy, and they're all back together. They end up back at the village where, again, the attack on the East Blue makes itself known, and they say they have to stop it. The people in the village are just grateful that this Golden Lion guy is about to leave, so they're like more or less celebrating the future destruction of the East Blue, which of course hurts Nami because they're saying that in front of her, but she doesn't want to say, hey, that's my home. And then Golden Lion guy comes and attacks the village. He wipes out the trees that are producing this scent that keeps the big scary beast away. Side note, those trees are also poisonous and are poisoning the village, but they need it to keep the animals away. So the animals all come in, it's destroying the village. Straw Hats attempt to attack but are overwhelmed, and Nami is forced to join the crew, and she leaves a message saying, "Don't come after me. I'm leaving you guys. I'm going off with Golden Lion Guy." And my mildest complaint is they keep replaying this message over and over again, which of course upsets Luffy, who storms off and doesn't listen to the whole message. So it's very obvious that at the end of the message, she's either going to leave some code saying, "Come save me," and essentially what she does say is, "Come save me." It's just kind of annoying that they kept playing the first part of the message and always cut it off at the same point. And I'm just like, I know that she is saying, "Come save me." I know she's going to say it. Just play the message. It's not a surprise. It's not a shock. It's not a twist. We know she's about to say it. So anyway, she gets taken. Robin and her group comes and gets the Straw Hats out of this thing they're in. And they go off to save Nami, because Luffy's not letting her leave the crew, whether he listened to that message or not. He's really pissed. So Nami decides to destroy the trees around Golden Lion Guy's hideout, so the animals will come and attack, but she ends up getting herself poisoned. He leaves her for dead, which is ridiculous because he went through all this trouble of getting her to join his crew because she's the best navigator there is. And then Luffy and the crew roll up looking fantastic. Like, these character designs, that one moment of them walking in with big guns, they're all dressed in fancy suits. It is glorious and beautiful, and I don't think I have loved a character entrance more than that moment in any other scene in all of One Piece. Please, somebody tell me that they wear these outfits in the canon main series, because I need that in my life. And they're just like, Nami was the entry force, we're here to cause havoc, we're the main forces, and they're just shooting guns at everybody, taking everybody out. There's some good fight scenes, and Chopper and Usopp get to Nami with the help of the glorious duck that I think Luffy named Billy or something like that, and his lightning powers, and it's so wonderful. I love this duck / peacock hybrid. He's wonderful, and I love him. You get annoying fight scenes as one of the side characters is like a mime who makes farts or squeaky noises. I can't remember which whenever he walks, so he was very much annoying. While the Golden Lion guy, I really liked him because we know about him from the escape from Impel Down. So canon character, but obviously I'm pretty sure all this is not canon. He's great, but like his side characters and henchmen are annoying as hell. Then there's like a gorilla who kidnaps Robin that Sanji has to save, and Zoro takes the credit, or Frankie takes the credit, I can't remember which. All well and good. It's the fights are what you expect from a One Piece movie. And then you have Nami, I think, seeing a storm coming in or manipulating so a storm occurs, I think. So Luffy is fighting in this lightning storm against Golden Lion Guy, and it's beautiful. And I love it. And he throws his arm up into the air, and he is rubber, so he isn't affected by the electricity, and he brings it down, and he's taking out the lion guy, and it's a beautiful, beautiful fight. I just loved it. And of course, the duck saves the day and flies up to get Luffy, and the crew needs a duck. I will die on this hill. The one that I need to join the crew is a duck. I need that. Back on the Sunny, Luffy confronts Nami. He's like, what the hell was with that message? How dare you leave that message saying that you're going to join his crew and not to come get you? What were you thinking? And Nami's just like, what are you talking about? And everyone's like, Luffy, did you not hear the ending? And then we finally hear the ending after hearing the beginning of said message like 80 times of her actually saying, so come save me. And I'm just like, obviously, that was not a twist. Overall, very fun time, amazing moments. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. It was a really fun time. Maybe a little long in the middle, but the action scenes and those outfits definitely make up for it. Yes, changing between the one fight and then going to save Nami, that costume change was necessary to the plot. It's like they had to change their outfits. It's beautiful. Yeah, so I want to watch, I think it's film Gold next. I think I'm safe. Just to make sure, I'm gonna read the next arc that I am in the main series first. But I think I'm safe to watch Gold. I am choosing to watch that one next based solely on the movie poster look cool. I don't actually know what it's about. Is it a casino? I think it's a casino. But let me know if there's other movies that I should watch, like what the next best one is, or the worst. I don't care. I just next One Piece movie that I should watch. All right, now I could go into lots of detail about Spy Family. I'm not sure how much detail I'm going into, but spoilers up to current manga. So obviously, I am loving Spy Family. It's a delight. It's adorable. I think I need a little bit more plot. When I first started this manga, I had said plot is irrelevant, the characters are cute, I'll live in this world, we can have zero plot, and that's fine. And that was fine back when I wasn't caught up and I could just binge a good section of it, and it's just adorable for hours reading this. Now that I'm caught up and reading like chapter by chapter, I need a bit more of a plot because it's just a little taste of adorable, and then it's like, okay, next. But we are getting more plot. So essentially, how much detail am I going in? I'll start with like the last like 3 arc sagas or whatever. So one of my favorite tropes is definitely like the cruise arc. I blame this on Black Butler because that was just wonderful, and so now I love it whenever the characters go on a cruise. So Yor has been hired as protection for a woman who is the daughter of a crime boss who was killed, and she's now the sole surviving member of the family along with her infant son. And they're trying to get her to safety. So Yor is hired by the garden and for her protection as they're getting away. And Lloyd is after information, but the garden has stopped or blocked that information. So we're going to get some kind of conflict between them eventually. And Yor is questioning whether or not she wants to continue to be an assassin because she got into this business to protect her brother. But now that he's all grown up, she's like, maybe I should retire and just commit myself to being this wife and mother. Like, what would happen if I was killed on a mission someday and I never came home to them? But then throughout the mission, she realizes that she took this job to protect her brother, and now she wants to continue to protect others. By the end, her hands are covered in blood. She's just killed a bunch of people, and the one who she's protecting brings her son to her and puts him in her arms, and she's like, no, I'll get him all bloody. It's like, your hands are the reason that he has a future. Hold him. And it's very, very, very cute. Then you have Anya, who wanted to she just wanted to win a raffle to go on a cruise and thought that'd be fun. So she's like, hey, they're rigging this so nobody wins. I'll use my psychic powers to get us tickets. So her and Lloyd end up on the same cruise that Yor's on this entire time, and she's trying to keep Lloyd away while Yor's doing all her assassin stuff, and she ends up helping out her mother a decent amount throughout this arc, and it's adorable, and I love it. Lloyd gets pulled into this whole plot where someone's trying to bomb the ship, and he has to defuse and throw bombs away, while also being very conviction in his mission to make sure Anya has a good time on this cruise, because family man, he takes this job very seriously. And then them coming together at the end and spending time as a family is adorable, but Yor's very tired, so she falls asleep on his shoulder and he ends up carrying her and Anya back to the cruise ship. It's just very, very cute, and I love this arc. The next arc, you get more of Lloyd's backstory, which is absolutely heartbreaking. You get him as a little kid, playing with his friends, just playing soldier. And when he ends up going home, his father like slaps him like, how could you play soldier instead of focusing on your studies? And little Lloyd is just like, Lloyd is also not his name. His name is redacted. Like, it's just a black bar whenever it should be said. So, like, no one knows his name. I don't even know if he remembers his name at this point. He probably does, but maybe not. He's just like, no, I want to kill all the monsters in. I honestly forget if Lloyd's in the East or West. It was a long time since I've read this arc. But he's like, I just want to kill all the monsters. And his father is just like, oh, you know they're monsters? You've spoken to them? How do you know this? There's not going to be a war. Drop it. You're not being a soldier. And then the next day, a bomb is dropped on his home during a festival. He thinks his family is killed. He sees his entire home destroyed, reduced to rubble, dead bodies in the streets, and his mother finds him amongst the chaos and takes him away into the country where they're safe because the father has been killed, never did, or presumed dead, never did come home. And then, again, they're just trying to survive. There's food shortages, and then there's another air raid. And Lloyd goes to a bomb shelter, but his mother doesn't make it. So he's running out, bombs are falling, he's crying for his mother, and she's gone. So what does he do? He goes and becomes a soldier to fight in this war. And who does he run into but Frankie, who has defected from the enemy country and is on the run. And they're enemies, and they start talking to each other, sharing a smoke, and it's revealed, like, they both lost people. This war is stupid. No one knows what they're fighting for. They can't trust their own country for what caused it, because each side thinks the other one caused it, and that initial bombing could have actually been bombed its own country, or manipulated someone to bomb their own country, or maybe it was the other side who's hit the first attack, but maybe they were manipulated by an outside force. They don't know, and they can't trust anything, and it's just mindless slaughter, and it's pointless, and just the horrors of war and how stupid and pointless it is, and how innocent people are the one that suffer for governmental lies, and it's very, very, very much anti-war statements. You have Lloyd eventually leaving, and Frankie goes off. We know they'll meet up again in the future, and he ends up finding his friends that he had thought was dead, and it's wonderful. He's happy. They're reunited. It's great. Only for them to go off on a mission that was poorly planned, misinformation, and just reckless, and they get killed. So he's like, I'll become a spy. If I had the information that could have helped with that mission, they could still be alive. And then there's this panel. I gotta look this one up. All right. The words are like, I don't know anything. I never did. I don't know the real reason this war had started. I thought there wouldn't be a war at all. I've been convinced they all died in the bombing. I hated the enemy without knowing why. I picked up a gun without knowing why. I obeyed my country without knowing why. Ignorance isn't bliss. Ignorance is weakness. Ignorance is a sin. And yeah, this author really hates war, and completely fair to it. So then eventually he gets picked up by a recruiter who brings him in to become a spy. And they're like, you're going to have to cast your old name aside. And he's like, that's fine. Everyone who knew that name is already dead. And it is a dark section of the manga, and it really, really shows, like, his goal. He doesn't even really care about his own country anymore. He just wants to create a world where children don't cry, and he can protect their future. And that's exactly what Yor wants. Even though she's from the enemy nation, she just wants to protect the future of the children growing up now so they can live in a peaceful world. So she's taking out the bad guys. And in two separate arcs, it shows their different characters, but how they're similar, and it's wonderful. They are not allowed to become enemies, ever. They're not allowed. Even, there's a lot of, like, little tiny chapters between all these things, but one of the small ones also is the handler, who is one of my favorite characters for just little tiny moments. I want her backstory so bad. One of her agents is very passionately upset and hating this character because of what, like, news media articles are saying about him and how he's a terrible person and the entire country hates him. And then she's just like, how do you know? prove it with facts. Why are you trusting this media organization? Don't you know how they can manipulate the public into believing something? And by the end, a lot of stuff happens, and it's just like, well, what was the truth? And she's just like, do you want something? Are you going to stand there and wait for the answers to fall into your lap? I don't know. Go find the answers for yourself. And I love her so very much. And then, as if we're not having enough trauma in this series, my sweet little wholesome, lovely family vibes of just good, sweet characters. Like, this is started off as like pure sugar. Another trauma happens where Anya is on the bus to a field trip to a museum. It's gonna be sweet. The bus gets hijacked from this Red Circle organization who have been brought up in previous arcs that Yor had more or less taken out, but now there's new members. They had started out as just like a student movement protesting against the government, but then supposedly the government turned against them, became violent, killed a bunch of people, and now they're got militarized and are trying to attack the government. So they've hijacked a bus because privileged children, good hostages. Anya's quick thinking and gets a message out. Like they write on a card saying, hey, we've been kidnapped. Here's Becky's student ID. Send help. Throws it out the window so then the police can organize. And Becky's father, who is very important, gets mobilized as well. Police barricade. Anya gets a bomb strapped to her neck. Thankfully, because of her mind reading powers, she knows it's not real. So she's keeping everyone else calm, and everyone else thinks like she's being so brave. And she's like, no, it's fine. Damien gets a bomb put on his neck, and Anya's just like, I heard them say it's fake. It's fine. Calm down. Keep everybody calm. She's being so mature and sweet. And then she starts reminding the guy in charge about his own daughter who was killed in one of the raids because she was a member of this Red Circle organization. And he's like, I would rather still be her father and have her be proud of me and not insult her memory. So he turns himself in. Someone else takes Anya hostage. He's about to blow up a real bomb. Becky's driver / nanny comes and saves the day with a stun gun, and it's all wonderful. You get Anya completely breaking down in her mother's arms, crying. She was so scared and so overwhelmed, and she's just happy to have her mother there holding her. And Lloyd's to the side in disguise, knowing he can't reveal himself because he's supposed to be out of town, but Anya knows he's there and that he came for her, and it's so sweet. And I'm thinking, oh, great, sweet, happy, we're back to just our cute, lovely, non-traumatic plot line. Only for Damien's mother to show up, who made friends with Yor in previous little chapters and arcs. So she comes, she's running, she grabs and holds her son. She was so worried and fearful that something had happened to her baby. And he's so happy his mother's there because we have a huge, huge trauma in his family somewhere along, like neglect or something. And she's like, of course I came. And then he says to her, don't tell father I cried. It's like, I wasn't scared at all. Don't tell father that I cried. And she just, a switch turns in her. She becomes scary. And then it's just like, oh, Damien, my sweet boy. Oh, Damien, my curse. I wish he had been killed in the hijacking. I want to take him home to make him dinner. I haven't done that in so long. He would love that. And it's just back and forth between how much she loves him and how much she hates him. And I'm just like, woman, what the hell? And she basically just tells him, of course, there's no reason for your father to know this about this. Don't even tell him I was here. Something is wrong with her, and I need to know what. So I'm very excited to see where this goes. Yeah, it's very good, but I need to wait for like the chapters to kind of get ahead before I can read it, because it's not something I can really enjoy reading just one teeny little chapter at a time. I want a full arc or saga all at once. So that's all I got. It's been fun. I will talk to you later.